Oscar Piastri was leading the World Drivers' Championship for such a long time, and then to see him not win it.
I'm Elle.
And I'm Pat, and we are Paddock 43.
And this is your F1 fix.
Clearly we're in two very different moods right now. One of us is ready to fucking go. This one, I literally was about to shake her awake and was like, we have to check out very, very soon.
Yes, we do. Good morning. I am tired. You literally, the end of the podium, it was like you just went...
Oh, I had to. I've been so sick.
Yeah.
The fact that I was even able to stay up just to, make sure that we all did this correctly. That, that is the only thing that I'm glad. It's end of season.
Really?
I'm sad.
Yeah, no,
I'm sad, but this is the only reason, the only thing that makes me happy about end of season is because
we don't have to stay out for races.
My weekends are just going to be a little bit more sane.
Yes.
And I'm exhausted. I'm actually wrecked. I mean, not as wrecked as people that follow the F1 circuit every week, but
so I couldn't sleep last night. I think as well it's just a mix of jet lag, and we ate so many lollies, which I was like, it's probably all the nerds that I ate. It was 4:30 and I couldn't sleep, and then I thought, I had a moment in my head and thought, wonder what they're all doing right now. I wonder what Lando is doing celebrating with his family right now. I'm like, he's probably out getting pissed.
Were you on your phone looking?
No, I didn't look at my phone. No.
Oh, well, you're good.
No, that would mean that I probably wouldn't have slept until I don't even know what time. I just checked the time and I thought, what are they up to right now?
Oh, well.
But they wouldn't post about it anyway. They never do.
They never do. But apparently the Abu Dhabi parties are wild.
I have seen some yacht parties that look very fun.
Well, it's over.
It's over. What?
Mixed emotions.
A season mixed. I think mixed emotions is the best way to describe it. The best way to describe how we were feeling. We were sitting here. Obviously everyone has watched it. And if you haven't, well, you should.
If you haven't, you're probably not going to watch it.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, you're probably not listening to us, obviously.
Or they are listening to us, but they're not watching.
No, everyone is watching it. And if not, you've seen the images, you've seen the footage of Lando. Obviously, we're sitting here. Lando Norris is the current World Drivers' Champion. It was actually really sweet. I don't know, I think you were asleep by this point, but he was saying that when they were asking him about it, he was like, I don't want to say it. I can't say it. And I think there was a part of him that didn't want to say it out loud.
Yeah, because he probably didn't believe it.
Yeah, but also in case they found something wrong with his car or something. Even though,
well, I said that to you. I was like, imagine if you got disqualified.
Yeah, if you got disqualified. Yeah. So he was like, I don't want to say it, and then he was still not saying it, but he was like, this is our victory, talking about his mum and his dad. So it was really sweet. But yeah, mixed emotions. I think watching him, you could see him driving and he was just kind of in his helmet. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's crying in his helmet. Bless, that is so sweet. And then he just didn't take his helmet off for such a long time because he was crying in his helmet, which was so beautiful and special. And then he was like, I feel like a loser. And I'm just like, Lando, you're not a loser. It is normal to cry. I wanted to shake him and be like, it's normal. Show your emotions. This is such a beautiful and special thing. And then obviously the moment that you and I both looked at each other and went, and even you felt a bit emotional when Carlos went up to him and went,
oh, yes. Carl Lando. That was probably one of the most special moments to me.
Yeah.
Carlos went up and he sort of prodded.
He was man.
Yeah. And Carlos's post to Lando also said, you've shown that you can be 100% yourself and win this thing. You don't need to be a villain.
And that he said true. Something along the lines of
I want to say one thing about this is that we definitely on this podcast, just like anyone else reporting on F1, have said, Lando, get a grip on your emotions at points. We definitely have.
I don't think we said it in that way. But we said that he need no. I mean, and I'll stand by that. I'll stand by it. It wasn't get a grip in your emotions because that's, and especially in this context, not what we're saying. It's more. No. It was more that
No, that's why I'm saying is like, no, I'm not telling people to get a grip on his emotions. I'm saying that we probably were a little bit harsh on him for being emotional at times.
No, because he
we're
lacked
like,
emotional intelligence.
No, but it was more like because Oscar had this like straight face and we were like, that's world champion energy. And at the end of the day, we were like, we said, there is, anyway, you can be world champion no matter who you are.
No, but I think...
Is what I'm trying to say is that it is okay. And it was a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing.
Carlos saying, you stuck to who you are. And you, like, when he goes, I feel like a loser. It's like, you're not a loser.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said.
Yeah.
So...
But it was more... excuse me. It was more along the lines that he... we used to say this, and I will stand by this, that back in the day, he did lack a bit of emotional intelligence. And it wasn't about being emotional per se, like how he was last night. It was more that he... And granted, it's a human reaction. So, everything gets to me all the time. But I'm not an F1 driver. And also he's younger than me as well. Like, he is younger than both of us. It was more the fact that... And there was a switch this season. And I will... we've spoken about that. There was a switch this season. But he used to let things get to him so much and get so emotional in races. Not like a crying emotion, but more of a... get really angry and frustrated, and he'd be driving and then make a silly mistake because his emotions would get to him. And this was something that we haven't really seen this happen to Oscar until like a couple of races this season where like his emotion maybe caused him to make a mistake. But Oscar's never had that.
At the end of the day, F1 is filled with 1,000 decisions in the season. Thousands, not 8,000, thousands.
Or just 1,000.
And just exactly 1,000. And
no more.
One decision can mess everything up. We've seen it happen so many times. Like, look at Qatar with the tyre strategy last weekend. And the fact that we're here, though, I mean, all three drivers seriously deserved it. And by the way, if you're wondering where we are, we're at Crown. I just realised we never introduced that if you're watching this. We stayed at Crown last night because I don't have a TV. Pat lives with her in-laws, so we couldn't watch it together anyway. So we're like, let's treat ourselves. We stayed at Crown. We had dinner at Nobu. It was like an end-of-season celebration.
Yeah.
And for anyone thinking, why aren't you in Abu Dhabi, Elle? You made it look like you were on Instagram going to Abu Dhabi. Well, we were thinking about going to Abu Dhabi.
We were.
But it was very, very expensive, and we weren't really looking for brand deals or anything like that. We wanted to go on, see what would happen. Some tickets fell through very last minute. We hadn't booked our flights. We were going to book them if they came through. But I was in Brisbane and I was racing with Porsche cars all Thursday. So part of that is that I went up in my race suit and I flew in it and I raced all day. So
yes,
I may have tricked the internet. Even my family on Friday when I rocked up at their house, they're like, "What are you doing? Aren't you in Abu Dhabi? We thought you were going there." I was like, "Oh, sorry. No, I was just in Brisbane. I'm still in the country. I did pack though, as if we were going to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I was supposed to be there with you, but I was in Hong Kong last minute. And then, Elle and I were sort of coordinating, like, do I fly from Hong Kong? And I was like, I don't want, because the flight over was a bit stressful with the babies. I was like, I don't really want Peter to fly back. I was like, I'll fly back home with him and then I'll fly straight to Abu Dhabi. And anyway, it didn't work out. And everything happens for a reason. Yeah. And that's why as well we were like, well, we were going to be paying for accommodation in Abu Dhabi. Like, what's a night away?
Yeah. And we treated ourselves.
We treated ourselves. And also because...
Never been. Yeah, excellent.
For those listeners that were following us along, I was like, Elle, this is a full circle moment because we were going to go to Marmont and I was like, could also be a full circle moment because we were supposed to go to Nobu
These are
at the end.
Crown, by the way.
Yes. We're supposed to go to Nobu, which I know it sounds so bougie, like we don't normally do these things, but we were supposed to go to Nobu after OzGP as like a celebration and then we didn't because Elle had too many Don Julios in her mouth. So we didn't go.
Insert image or photo.
Video. Video. It has to be video. You and your
Do you have that video?
Oh yeah, I do.
Okay, so that is
absolutely. It's got a big love
living
heart
on
it.
YouTube right now, I guess.
Yes.
On top of this video, if you haven't watched it.
But
oopsies.
But yeah, so we were like, well, whatever. Let's just go to Nobu and like our end of season celebration, and like we've been wanting to do that for a long time. Actually, I forgot that you also owe me a dinner.
Holy shitballs!
We'll do that one day. But it won't be Nobu. I'm too nice to you. I wouldn't let you pay.
Okay,
for
so
Nobu for me.
what if anyone's wondering what that dinner is this our end of season?
No, but we'll have a few more episodes before. We'll have a few more episodes before end of the season. Yeah. There'll be lots happening that we'll recap.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what is happening?
No.
So if anyone's wondering about what the dinner situation is, we had a challenge on TikTok. We had to upload every single day, and I missed a day. And the loser,
Owes the other person dinner. And then we were talking about where to go, but I am too nice. I'm not. And everyone was like, go to Attica. I'm like, I'd love to go to Attica, but I'm not.
Apparently it's really shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not that kind of friend that will say.
I was like, please pick grilled or Macca's or something.
I mean, I won't pick one of those either. I'll just go like a little bit higher than that.
Okay.
But I won't go that
There'll be
high.
more challenges next year.
There'll be more challenges.
But the race. God, I felt bad for Oscar. I feel like he seriously deserved that, and he raced phenomenally.
He raced so
That's
well.
not how you say that word, but he did so well, and that was emotional. And so many Australians watching stayed up last night for it.
I think we were all sitting there thinking, could something happen? Because I think all of us had to bank on a double
the fact
DNF.
that Oscar led more than half of that race in the leader position, and Lando, when he pitted, he came out around the 7th, 8th position, and granted he got in front of everyone very, very quickly and stuck back up to 3rd, but which goes to show he's got skill.
Yeah, he does have skill.
He got around everyone very, very quickly. But imagine if he stayed down there. Like, it was a 2-point difference between Max and Lando as well.
Yeah. What about that start?
The start, that was intense. Oh my God. Max, so clean.
I was just yelling, clean.
Oh, no. I have a video on it. If you don't know the context, it looks really, really weird. But
we did we did jump on Instagram Live with a lot of people, and Max just, he's a fighter. Like, watching him, what he did, for those that didn't pay attention, he just went, so he was here, Lando was here, and he went in 2 seconds.
Oh my God, if you're listening to that would have been the weirdest thing to listen to. He was in the right lane, the right side, and just swept right up in front of Lando. Like, took off, swept up in front of Lando. The reaction, like, how? Maybe he's a robot. That is what I felt emotional about, that was his last win and lap as drivers champion, and he was handing the baton to someone else.
Drivers
I mean, look,
champion.
he might come back. Like, there's always someone in between, and
he might, but
back.
he would never be a 5-time consecutive drivers champion.
No,
he will
just
always
a
be a
4-time.
4-time.
Yeah, I think he was
also
okay
drove
with it though.
But
he didn't seem to be fast.
But it was funny because obviously we were on the Today Show yesterday, and we were speaking about how on the coverage on Thursday, how Lando, Max, and Oscar were being interviewed, and they were obviously all getting grilled about becoming World Drivers' Championship. And the little humble brags by Max, he was like, "Well, I've already won it 4 times, so I've already been there, so I don't really need to be there."
The trophy
and it
looks the same.
The trophy looks the same, and that's hilarious. And just that subtle flex from Max, and he's so like cool, calm, and collected, and just like, I don't really care. This is so nonchalant, like means nothing to me. It's fine. I've already been there. And then in the race, when he was, I don't remember if you remember at one point, he's like yelling at his engineer, like, "Where is he? Where's Lando?" No. So he was asking about Charles. He was like, "Where is Charles? Where is Charles?"
Because Charles to take Lando on.
Yes, because I was sitting here kicking my legs. I mean, that was funny. I was yelling like, "Oh my God, Charles Leclerc could be controlling this race," because
Charles
Charles
like that as well at one point.
He did, and I was like yelling like, why does the Ferrari finally have speed, and it's the last fucking race of the season? Why? And yes, correct. He did have a lot of pace. And there was a point where it was Max Verstappen. Well, it was Oscar Piastri, Max Verstappen, and then they switched. Norris, Charles. Charles was catching up to Lando.
He was at one point, but then he wasn't.
But it was for a while he was. And that's
for a couple of laps he was catching up.
No, he was, I reckon, for at least 8 laps.
No, you're just being Ferrari brain bedazzled.
Well, anyway, but so Max was like, "Where is Charles? Where is Charles?" Because, and that was that winner's mentality, just going and taking over. And that was hilarious to see. And I was like, "Oh my God, could the Ferrari be controlling the World Drivers' Championship?" And then Yuki was at one point as well.
Yeah, then he got a 5-second
and
time
then got a
penalty.
5-second time penalty, and he was yelling.
Yeah.
And
When I saw that, because that was obviously with a little incident with Lando Norris, he pushed Lando off the track limits. I fully read it wrong for a second. And I thought, oh my God, Lando Norris is getting a 5-second time penalty. And I was like, this shit changes everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, no, it's for Yuki.
yeah, it
Never
was
mind.
for Yuki. Yeah, because why are there exclamation points? Like, remember what happened? Oh,
Yeah, there were some points that I missed. Like, I would just, like, I'd ominously pick up a packet of M&Ms and pour it in my mouth, and then I'd be like, wait, what did I miss for 5 seconds? It was also,
quick sport.
It was quick sport. It was a lot of things happening, but also a lot of not things happening at the
Yeah.
same time. Like, it was a little bit boring sometimes.
Like,
and then-
I was like, oh, I hope this isn't a boring race. I'm like, come on, we need something wild to happen. Nothing really wild happened, but it was a good race. Obviously, it was very exciting because we were sort of sitting on the edge of our seats, like, who's taking this? Lando, I think, we were sitting here mixed emotions.
Mixed emotions. Also mixed emotions that it was the last race with DRS. Sad. Tear. We're moving to a new era of hybrid engines.
What about Lance Stroll?
Well, it actually wasn't Lance Stroll. So
wasn't?
we put up on Instagram that, oh my God, Lance Stroll was the last person to use DRS. Apparently it was Kimi Antonelli.
Oh, okay.
Lance Stroll was the last takeover. But
Because I was like, he's finally done something. Lance Stroll finally did something.
I lost my shit when I saw that comment online. But no, it was Kimi Antonelli was the last person to press the DRS button. And next year we move into X mode and Z mode, which is... I don't know, I'm interested to see how that goes and who's going to
perform.
People that drivers that are very good with simulation racing, I reckon, are going to be the ones that excel in that.
Do we think some of the rookies, like, I'm just thinking...
Possibly the rookies, but also there's going to be 22 drivers on the grid next year.
But
we're moving up.
You know what's interesting? You know how, for those that have missed out, and if you have to go back and listen to it, but our interview with Carl, and Carl was speaking to us about how Danny Ricciardo, such a talented driver, and he was saying how he was more in that older generation of driving, where it was just about the driving, not
Imagine
about
if Alonso comes back. I mean, Alonso actually has said he wants to see what the car is like next year, and then he'll decide what he does with his career.
I think he'll probably retire.
I think he'll retire.
This is
but imagine if he loves it and he's like, "Wait, this is fantastic."
I mean, he might love it, and I could be wrong, but I think does this kind of take over that camp of, like, and I'm thinking about the Gen Zers in the world and, like, the rookies, for example, where they've grown up with technology, whilst there's this other generation, and, like, where you and I would be we would be a similar generation to, like, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Lando. I mean,
Lando's too young.
Lando and Oscar are too young, but, like, Carlos, like, that's our generation.
I think there might be a generational
How are they?
Situation here, but I also think it comes down to the manufacturer. Like,
Yeah.
Mercedes will be supplying McLaren. And obviously Mercedes as well. They have fantastic hybrid engines.
They do.
In
We've
their
been saying
AMG fleet. That will be very interesting. Ferrari? Don't know.
But remember
That could
I
be
was
interesting.
saying-
And they're going to be supplying Cadillac.
Yeah.
So, and then Ford will be working with Red Bull. And Ford also have fantastic hybrid engines. But Toyota Gazoo Racing is going to be working with Haas. So... It's all very, very interesting.
But do you remember I was saying this, like, maybe I was reading an article. It was about
that was the last race with Yuki.
Yeah, I know. Like 4 months ago, I was reading this article, and it was kind of around the time that Christian Horner, all that drama was happening with Christian Horner and Red Bull, and adios, Christian. And Toto was saying that, obviously, we're saying we don't know how the cars are going to perform next year, but Mercedes was the one team that was saying they were feeling really confident going into next year because they have, we have to think about, obviously, Formula One is a very different car to, like, an actual manufactured car. Completely different worlds. But the whole, back in the day when Formula One began, we were seeing Formula One engines trickle down into, not an actual Formula One engine, but we were seeing that technology being put into automotive cars. And Mercedes feel confident about their engine because they obviously have a good hybrid engine. So I was saying this. I was like, I think that they'll do well. But then obviously, I mean, it's a wider question, and we will probably do an episode on this. But obviously, like Adrian Newey at Aston Martin, then we've got Williams as well. And I think that's like a bigger conversation.
I think next year, look, this is probably one of the best F1 seasons we've seen in a long time.
Agreed.
And I think next year, I know a lot of people are sad about the regulations and they just think it's going to be shit. Like Max is also a bit like,
Don't know
not
how
like
it'll
I
go.
feel like it's not racing anymore. But it's a new era of racing. Everyone's always resistant to change. Remember when people thought computers were bad? Now you can't live without
Now
it.
who's laughing?
It's so, I feel like it's a new era of racing. It's going to be interesting. Sure, it won't be as loud.
Yeah.
Get over it. Like, this is still going to be fantastic. Everyone's
Yeah.
still going to be so incredibly close. And I think that's what's going to make it more exciting as well, because it really is going to come down to the driver's skill. So I'm excited. I'm
Yes.
sad this season's over.
Me too.
I'm sad that this episode is wrapping up now because we
I
do
just
have
want
to check
say,
out.
I just want to say two things.
She always has to say something when
Yes.
we need to wrap up.
So,
She always has to say
yeah,
something.
yeah.
She never
I
knows
kind of
when to shut up.
No, just on the mixed emotions thing, right? I know that you said like Lando really deserved it. I want to say that, and we said this yesterday, all three drivers really did deserve it. And we did say at the beginning of the season we thought Lando was going to win, and we thought like how beautiful, how special. And watching Lando win at Aussie GP, I was like, oh my God, so emotional. And then I think throughout the season that thought got tainted a bit because obviously we wanted Oscar to win, and you know that was a possibility. And granted, it was like quite upsetting the fact that, and it was mentioned a lot in the coverage last night, that Oscar Piastri was leading the World Drivers' Championship for such a long time, and then to see him not win it is really disappointing. And so it's those mixed feelings of like, I was watching Lando and thinking, do you know what? He deserves this. This is such a special moment. Watching his mum was so beautiful. I think I was like watching it from a parent lens as well. Like the work as parents that they would have put in as well, just as much as Lando, to help him get to this point and to follow his dream. Like, I feel like I'm going to cry about it right now, was so special to see. And watching him be so emotional and show so much raw emotion was so beautiful. And I just want to say as well, Oscar Piastri,
You're
I feel
a fucking
like
legend.
as a nation, we are so proud. All of Australia, like what he has done for the sport and for in our country has been something like we haven't seen before.
If you're from overseas, just to add to that, traditional media never used to really cover F1.
No.
Very, very rarely. They would mention, say, if Daniel Ricciardo or Mark Webber won something,
If
maybe,
that.
and they just touch on it for a second.
Yeah.
It's never been like
It's
this,
never
where it's
been
been
like
spoken
this.
about almost daily,
Yeah.
weekly.
He's
I even
like,
spoke to a journalist last night who works in sport, and he was like, I cannot believe how much F1 has taken over our media
yes.
space.
And
this
so
year.
we thank you for that, Oscar,
Yeah.
because what you have done has been amazing. And I know that he would know this, but Oscar Piastri, if you are watching, we are so incredibly proud of you. And not just we, I mean the entire nation. And just because it didn't happen this year, and we have been saying this, just because it didn't happen this year, it's going to happen. You will be a World Drivers' Champion. And you won't be just a World Drivers' Champion once. It'll be a multi-drivers' champion. This is his third season. This is Lando's 7th season. So just to put that into context, it will happen. You are so close. And we are so proud. We are so incredibly proud of you.
Goosebumps.
And it was deserved, but all three of them deserved it. So it wasn't that like one of them deserved it more than the other. They all deserved it. They all equally deserve it. They all put in the work. They all put in the time. Granted, there were a few things that happened this season that were, a bit unfair. Even Lando said last night, I felt like luck was on my side. And unfortunately, that is what the sport is like as well. You can be the most incredible driver, but there are things that happen. Like, I always think about what happened in Las Vegas GP with Lando during quali. There was a safety car, and he ended up qualifying first. So there are things that happen that are out of control, that are out of people's control. So,
And you know something that's out of our control? That checkout is in 8 minutes, and I've been trying to get Pat to shut up.
So
and keep
anyway.
going. So we've got to wrap this up because I've got to get this onto her, and she also has to get home to her baby.
yes. So, well, anyway,
Chat to you soon.
chat to you. Wait, green flag, red flag, really quickly.
Porsche Day, obviously, red flag. I've been sick.
Okay. My green flag was probably being Hong Kong with my family. My red flag, I mean, obviously, besides the fact that, F1, and my red flag is that I was wide awake at 4:30 in the morning this morning. I actually thought that this morning. I thought that would be my red flag. But thanks so much for listening, guys. We will be back in your ears next week. Thanks for following along.
Bye.
Bye.